דבורה פייגה בת שמואל, אורה דבורה בת שמואל, אסתר רבקה בת אברהם, מוניקה בת פני, מנחם מנדל בן אלחנן, and again the name please, Bonan, Salomon Bonan, Ruach Hashem Tenachem Began Eden. You know, I saw a very interesting chidush, when we talk about Yosef being sold and everything. So the Rashi writes the following words. Listen up, this is very interesting. It says like this. One more second. Okay, I have to find it. I'm going to tell you by heart. It says like this. It says, yeah, it's the same one. So it says like this. Yosef HaTzadik, yeah, he spoke negatively about his brothers. Right? He spoke negative. What he spoke? What did he say? So the Rashi is telling us, he said 3 things about his brothers. So he went to his father, and he was telling his father things about his brothers. What was the things that he was telling about his brothers? Three main averot, sins that they did. Number 1, Ever Minachai. Know what's Ever Minachai? Ever Minachai is to eat an animal when he's alive. To cut the leg of the animal without doing shachita. Okay, Ever Minachai. That was one avera. Second avera that he spoke bad about his brothers was arayot. He was saying, listen, they're going with women or whatever it is. Barmina. Third avera, he says that third avera that they did, Ever Minachai, we have Gilui Arayot, and they had I can't find it over here in this Chumash. Oh, here it is. Chazak Baruch. So he says like this. He says, that what? That his brothers are calling to each other, right? They're calling to each other, you slaves. What they were calling their dad? Yaakov Avinu had how many wives? 4, right? 2 of them, Rachel and Leah. The other 2 were Shefachot, right? So the brothers of Leah, they were calling the brothers of Bilhah, yeah, you guys are, slaves. Right? Yafeh. So says Rashi, what the Kadosh Baruch Hu did to Yosef HaTzadik, he paid him back the same coin, with the same coin. How? It says like this. It says, you spoke, you said to your father that your brothers were doing Iver Minachai, that they were eating an animal without doing shechita. Don't worry. They're going to put you in a pit. They're going to take your garment. They're going to slaughter an animal. And they're going to use the blood, right, to tell the father that you were killed. Why did Torah have to tell me that they slaughtered the animal? Say, oh, you know what? You were judging them for bad. Here it is the result. Number 2, you spoke bad about your brothers, and they're saying to each other that they're slaves. You're going to be sold as a slave as well. Number 3, you were talking negative about your brothers, that Bar Minan, they were going with women. Don't worry, you're going to have a challenge with the wife of Potiphar. She's going to grab you from your garments, and it's a very big challenge. That's the Rashi, right? So, Say Chachamim, if it was me, and you were asking me, what was the major punishment of Yosef, or the major suffering of Yosef? I will say, you know what? Being separated from his father for over 22 years, right? Being sold to Mitzrayim, to get into a place by himself at the age of 17, that's a terrible, terrible punishment, right? Terrible challenge. But when we read this Rashi, we understand that that wasn't the greatest challenge. The greatest challenge were in these 3 points. Why? Say Chachamim, I want to tell you something. What's the biggest punishment of a person in his life? Say Rav Chatzkel Abrahamsky says, the biggest punishment of a person is when a person believes something in his life that that's the right thing, and then after a good amount of years, good time that pass, I realize that all what he believed in, right, was wrong. Was wrong. That's the worst punishment of a person, saying to himself, listen, all those years I wasted for nothing. Say Chachamim, the punishment of Yosef HaTzadik was that all the time he was thinking negatively about his brothers. And then all of a sudden, Borei Olam shows him in front of his face how these 3 main points that all the time he was talking about it and he was telling his father about it and everything, God, he sees in front of his face what was a mistake. That's the greatest punishment. Rabotai, sometimes we don't understand how important it is, the concept of judging for good. I showed you this morning, right, a message. I told you that this week was a very tough week. There was a case in Eretz Israel that a little boy, not even a boy, it's a baby. A baby passed away last week, all of a sudden. And the father, he was sitting Shiv'ah. Young fellow, my age, younger than me. He was sitting Shiv'ah. In the middle of the Shiv'ah, passed away. A shock to everybody. His friend learns with me every morning. His friend from Yeshiva. I cannot even believe it, he told me. He is my friend in a... So they went, the friends of this Yehudi that passed away, they went to one of the Gdolei Hador of today. And they asked him, Rabbi, I mean, what should we be mitchazek? You know, this is a tragedy. And the rabbi said the following. Says the rabbi, sometimes the small things are the things that it's the most harder things to keep. And things that are looking so obvious and so simple and no big chidushim are the things that are more a person have to work on himself. And he said, today, one of the greatest challenges that we have, and I'm talking about all of us, is to judge for good other people. Not only saying good, thinking good. I see somebody coming to shul, I don't like it so much, I don't like his face, I don't like his attitude, I don't like his this. To think positive. Why? That's exactly what's happening in our parasha. Yosef HaTzadik was judging for bad. The greatest punishment is to see how in front of his face all the theory that he built up is in vain, was fake. Let me just tell you, there was a case happened very recent. There were 2 ladies. They were very friends, and it happened to be they had a fight in between them. Could happen. They didn't spoke for a while, and then Baruch Hashem, somehow one of the women that was involved in the case, she did shalom in between them. Beautiful. At the beginning, it was still hard, we're friends, but not really, and whatever. And with the time, they came back to normal. This is one of the days. Lady A is walking in the street, and she sees her friend, Lady B, passing by. She says, hello. And the other lady doesn't even look at her. Continues like nothing happened. Lady A, she gets so upset. She said, what? That shows that what? That all the peace that we did is for fake peace? What is this woman? Forget about her and whatever. She started to. At night, Lady A gets a phone call. She sees it in the phone. Who is calling? Lady B. Lady B is calling. Says, you know what? I'm not going to answer her. Hatzufa. I'm saying hello, she's not answering me. But she calls again. Second time that she calls, fine, I'm going to answer. Yes. What do you need? So, no, hi, how are you? I'm sorry to ask you this. I'm really, I usually I don't like to say my private things to other people, but I need your help this time. What happened? How can I help you? He says, this morning I use lenses. How you call it? Yeah, lenses? Lenses? Okay, contact lenses. I use that. Happened to be that I had the last pair, and I couldn't see nothing. Without the contact lenses, I cannot see anything in the street. Baruch Hashem, I didn't got I didn't got any car accident or something because be'emet I don't see anything. And I beg you, please, I tried today to figure out how, but I need somebody to help me. If you don't mind to come with me tomorrow to the optical in the area, to buy something, to buy those contact lenses. This lady, she said, Lady A, she said, can you imagine all the movie that I built up? All the drama that I built? Everything for nothing. Just for not looking to judge for good. There was a man that he said, Bemet, that he said, he's the son of a certain rabbi. He said, I'm going to make a party for bar mitzvah or whatever happiness he had. And he invited, I don't know how many people. Everybody's going to come to my simcha. I'm the son of the rabbi, so and so. He got to the place. He didn't have even half of the people that he thought. Rabotai, the greatest punishment of a person is to see in front of your eyes that all what you're building in, it's in vain. It's fake. And that comes when we don't judge for good. How careful we got to be judging and trying to look all the time for the good of the others. Say Chachamim, you want to judge, you want to have good judgment for yourself, right? You're having mercy in other Jews, you're going to have mercy from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're judging for good for other Jews, HaKadosh Baruch Hu also judging for good. Why? Because Hashem shomerecha, Hashem tzilecha al yad yaminecha. What's Hashem tzilecha? Hashem is your shadow. You move your hand in the shadow moves his hand. You walk in the shadow, the shadow walks with you. Borei Olam acts like a shadow with you. That's number one. But number two, I want to tell you one more point. Chachamim are telling us, and this is very important. Say the Chovat HaLevavot. One of the most hard things for a person to control, the most hard things, is the concept of ga'ava, pride. And he explains, ga'ava doesn't mean to walk with the nose up, and to think I'm the most important ever. No. Ga'ava means, in 2 words, all the time to think, you know what? I'm the right one. I can, they need me. Without me being involved. In England, I don't want to speak Lashon Hara, but in England there were some elections now, right? And there was this Mr. Johnson, his name? Johnson. Yeah, Johnson won. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. The other one was, right? So it was funny because I got an article from somebody. He sent me and told me, look what is this. And I read it. And they said about a guy, happened to be, he's a Jew. He says, the reason why Mr. Johnson won the elections is thanks to me. That was the title. Thanks to me. And then, only from the title you laugh, and you start reading it, and you cannot believe it. How this guy is able to say, first of all, was shtuyot, and second of all, putting himself in such a pride, thanks to me, and he had to kiss me, Sounds funny, huh? What about ourselves? We don't feel that feeling sometimes when we help somebody. When I help my wife, when I have my friend, when I did a good favor to somebody, we don't feel, you know what? Without me, you couldn't make it. How many times? That's called pride. And say the Chotzadikim, when there is ga'ava, when there is pride, Borei Olam says, אין אני והוא יכולים לדור באותו מקום. Me and him, we cannot live on the same spot, on the same place. Or is him, or is me. Very tough. Or is me, or is him. You know what? Yosef HaTzadik, and we have to be careful because we're talking about tzaddikim. We're not talking about ourselves. Yosef HaTzadik also had something of a little bit of the concept of gava in that area. Why? Because Yosef HaTzadik comes to his father and he's pushing down somebody to raise himself. This is called a terrible gava. It says the Chot Tzadikim, there are 24 things that close the gates of teshuvah in front of the person. One of them is the person that is getting kavod biklon havero, by putting down somebody else. Rabotai, this happens every single day to a lot of people around us. Only business. How many times? Yeah, one company or one person that have a business is trying to put down somebody else just to get more money, just to be ahead of him. How many times? The other day, a guy came up to me and told me, Rabbi, I cannot believe what happened. I was helping somebody that he didn't have what to eat. I helped him out in my business. I taught him the whole business and the whole thing. And today, he opened up his own business, but fine, I accept that. But not only he opened the same business, but he's taking my products and he's selling it. Kiviyachol, it's his products and not mine. Says Rabotai, the person who is getting kavod by taking down somebody else, this blocks the teshuvah for this person. Why? Because he's not being even sensitive about the feelings of somebody else. You cannot even be sensitive about how is your connection with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Let's take these 2 points. Number one, to think positive. To think how, even things that doesn't make sense, I had to think positive about somebody else. And number two, try to put down the concept of pride. Don't be gaftan. Don't think positive too much about yourself. Yeah, and understand that whatever you got, even if you're brilliant, everything comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and without His help, we cannot get to anywhere. Baruch Adonai Le'olam.